Riddick, Big Daddy Bo, thanks for stopping by, big man.
Oh, no problem.
Great
anytime, anytime.
Former heavyweight champion of the world, Riddick Bowe, back with more of Fight Night 97 right after this. Coley in the ring for the first time since March of this year as he takes on Romalis Ellis. And we talked about Derrell Colev's managerial problems inside the ring. This guy is ranked number 3 by the WBC, number 4 by the WBA, number 8 by the IBF. And J.D. Brown, why has this guy not had a title shot?
Well, one of the reasons why he hasn't had a title shot right now is because a lot of the guys don't like his style. Derrell Colev is a slick boxer. People try to shy away from him. And, you know, there's a lot of rumbling in the community about him and his management. So, you know, you really don't know what's really happening on the other end. But I know that Derrell Colev is a slick boxer. The people really don't like to fight boxers like that because they can make them look bad.
Now, he was knocked down more than once by Kip Dix in his last fight. Is that a sign of inactivity, the fact that he went down, but did come back up, and he blew Dix away at the end of that fight in the 11th round?
Well, he's an exciting fighter, and one of the things that he did in that fight, he showed a lot of guts. He got knocked down several times in the fight. He got up, and he fought even harder after he got knocked down. He looks like he's all business in there tonight, Larry. He's concentrating. He said that he's had the managerial problems. He's going to retire after this fight. I don't think so. I think he's going to move on up and fight for a world title very soon if he gets past the tough Romalis Ellis.
Let's talk about Ellis a little bit. Former Olympian, a bronze medal winner. He is from Atlanta, Georgia.
No, correct that, Larry. He lives in Atlanta. He's from right here in Washington, D.C. Born in Washington, raised in Glen Arden, Maryland. Lives now in Atlanta, Georgia. 24-2 is his record, and this past July, he was knocked out in the 4th round by Raul Marquez at 153 pounds for the IBF World Championship. So this guy is looking to bounce back. He took a big step trying to come up from the welterweight class, move up to fight as a junior middleweight, and it was a tough fight for him. Raul Marquez is a tough fighter, and one of the things that he had to go up against is that the weight factor, but he also had to go up with the fact that he's been coming back off a long 10-month layoff. He had 2 good wins over Pedro Sanchez and Vincent Phillips. He thought he could step up and beat the guys up, Raul Marquez.
Let's get the official introductions from Michael Buffer.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, Fight Night 97, the Fight for Children is proud to present the main event of the evening, 12 rounds of boxing for the North American Boxing Federation Welterweight Championship. This bout is sanctioned by the District of Columbia Boxing and Wrestling Commission, Chairman Arnold W. McKnight, Commissioners in attendance at ringside, Michael A. Brown and Reynel Humble Zapata. This bout is also sanctioned by the North American Boxing Federation, President Sammy Macias. Supervisor ringside for the NABF is Claude Jackson. The 3 judges assigned who will be scoring the bout on a 10-point must system are Sheila Harmon Martin, William Clancy, and Bruce Foster. And when the bell rings, the man in charge of the action, your referee, Kenny Chevalier. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the fighters are ready, the officials are ready, I know the fans are ready. So from Fight Night 97, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble! Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing black trimmed with gold and weighing in at exactly 147 pounds. His professional record, an excellent one. 24 victories, 17 by KO, with only 2 defeats. Ladies and gentlemen, from our nation's capital, Washington, D.C., here is the number 2 ranked NABF welterweight contender, Romalis Big Shot Ellis. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, wearing red trimmed with gold and also weighing exactly 147 pounds. His professional record, also an outstanding one. 30 victories with only 1 defeat and 2 draws, and 22 of his victories by way of knockout. And he's ranked number 3 in the world by the WBC. From Capitol Heights, Maryland, ladies and gentlemen, presenting the NABF welterweight champion Derrell "Too Sweet" Colev.
It is Too Sweet against Romelis Ellis. Let's take a look at the tail of the tape, JD.
Okay, look here. I'll give you your.
Well, we're looking at the age difference is not that much. We got Ellis 31 years old, Colev 27, but Colev has a height advantage, and also that height advantage speaks also to the reach advantage. So you got to look for Derrell Colev starting off with that long jab that he has. Try to box, stay away from big shot. Romelis Ellis' big shots.
You think Ellis might have a strategy? Colev has not fought since March. He's got the managerial problems. Might Ellis' best strategy be to go after him early?
He may go after him early, and that's why Derrell Colev has got to be careful early in this fight, because I think Ellis is going to try to jump all over him and see if he can get him out of there early. Especially since Derrell's been knocked down the last couple of times. I look for Ellis to go right at him.
Colev has a lot of fans here at ringside, and you wonder if the focus is there. We're going to find out.
Watch the footwork and the hand speed of Derrell Colev, though. He's a very, very slick fighter.
A buzz in the arena. It's Derrell Colev back in the ring. Romelis Ellis knocked out by Raul Marquez in the 4th round in his last fight for the IBF Junior Middleweight Championship.
Romelis Ellis is starting off with that southpaw style, which could be confusing to Derrell Colev. Derrell Colev needs to circle, stay on the outside of Romelis Ellis' right front foot. Right now he's standing on the inside of it, and Romelis Ellis could catch him with that big left hand.
Ellis has been against some pretty good fighters. In January of this year, he was winner in 10 rounds over Vince Phillips, who has since won a world championship.
That's right. Vince Phillips came in and upset Costa Zoo and won the world title at the junior welterweight. He moved up and fought Romelis Ellis at 147, and Ellis was able to swarm all over him, which I think he's going to try to do with Derrell Colev. The only difference, though, Derrell Colev is a slick boxer. He's able to move and get out of the way of these big shots from Romelis Ellis. He can't stay there and trade punches with Ellis.
Both fighters trying to loosen up, feel each other out here in round 1.
Ellis is concentrating hard. He's looking hard at Derrell Colev, trying to get Derrell Colev to follow him around the ring so he can get that left hand in. He almost pulled it off just now. He was trying to bait Derrell in. Derrell was able to counter that big right hand and move to the side.
Fight is scheduled for 12 rounds. And the winner of this fight, we are told, might have a title shot in his near future.
I think the winner of this fight is definitely going to be on tab for the world title in the next fight. Watch Derrell Colev. Derrell Colev doesn't have a bit of sweat on him at all. I'm surprised at that. And it's up in that ring is really hot, and there's not any sweat at all on him. He's not perspiring at all. And that could be a sign of being dehydrated, overtrained.
Ellis not necessarily sweating profusely either at this point. Long introductions might have cooled these guys off a bit.
Well, Larry, you know, when you and I were up there, we were sweating. Everyone thought we fought 15 rounds.
I know. We were up there for 5 minutes for the open. Colev
with the quick hands.
Very sharp puncher.
He doesn't look like somebody who's laid off for as long as he has.
No, but we might find that out a little bit later.
You know, one of the things that's happened is these two guys have been working in the gym sparring. Romelis Ellis was sparring with Luther Smith, who you saw earlier on the card, and Derrell Coley's been sparring with DeMarcus Corley. So these two guys that are fighting on the card had a chance to fight, had a chance to box with the two guys who fight in the main event. Coley's trying to slide that right hand in.
See their feet almost stepping on one another. You see Ellis's right foot and the left foot of Colev meeting each other. Ellis almost stepped on his foot a couple of times.
Ellis is leaning in with that left hand. He's got to be careful. He's going to get caught with the shot. He leans in like that again. Derrell Colev might catch him with that left hook. He has to be careful of that.
The end of the first round. Let's head to the corner of Romelis Ellis.
In Romelis Ellis' corner is a former welterweight contender, Johnny Gant, who was #1 in the world and fought Sugar Ray Leonard here back in 1979.
I remember that fight. Now the corner of Derrell Colev.
In the corner of Derrell Colev is another welterweight contender, Adrian Davis. So both guys have professional fighters in their corner.
about a guy like Derrell Colev, knocked down a couple times in his last fight, comes back, wins by knockout? Any psychological scars remaining on Derrell Colev, you think?
I think Derrell Colev has to realize that those knockdowns that he had are in the back of his mind. He doesn't want that to happen here in front of his home crowd. And most of all, he wants to look real impressive tonight because he's talking about retiring, talking about changing management, and he wants to make sure his stock soars and not descends.
And his manager, Barry Lindy, is right at ringside for this fight. So a bit of a soap opera sidebar here tonight at Fight Night.
As the boxing turns.
Ain't that the truth? Round 2 underway. Neither fighter doing any damage at all in the first round. Well, Derrell Colev is a veteran. He's been able to fight left-handers. Let's welcome in to our broadcast location the very unique man. And I got to tell you, Butterbean, you auctioned off your trunks, you auctioned off your gloves. Great move, buddy.
Well, you know, the kids, I met with a cancer kid yesterday. He's wanting to go meet the Montana from Florida, and that might help his wish come true, or another kid's. It means a lot to me when that happens.
Well, it means a lot to the folks down at Children's Hospital as well, and congratulations. That was a class move, buddy.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Derrell Colev stepping it up in there now. He caught Romelis Ellis leaning in. Romelis Ellis hit Colev with a good shot, dropped his hands and walked in, and Colev caught him back with the right hand.
Butterbean, you've been incredibly active. Could you ever think of not fighting like Colev? Colev has not fought since March. Your record, I mean, you're fighting like 13, 14 times a year.
You know, I couldn't imagine having to train hard and not fight. That's the whole thing. You got to keep active. That's the key thing.
Derrell Colev trying to turn the heat on a little bit now. Both fighters loose now, as opposed to the first round where they're both bone dry.
Ellis has got to keep his hands up, though. He's dropping that left hand, and Coley's going to try to sneak the right hand over. There it is right there.
With us at ringside, the Butterbean Eric Ashe, who was victorious earlier tonight. And Bean, you go across the country and you're a Colt hero. And I remember back when we were doing the Tough Man competition, you said, hey, one day I'm going to get there. You did.
Well, we just got back from Argentina 2 weeks. There's a big hit there. There's another charity thing. And, you know, this is anything to help charities is just wonderful. We have a lot of fun, too.
And you do some damage as well, I got to tell you.
Bean, we named your punch. Your new punch now is now called the Lima Bean Punch. You hit that guy with the right hand, put him to sleep with the Lima Bean Punch.
Anything that works.
Action continuing here in round 2.
Ellis is trying to get inside with Derrell Colev. Colev keeping him at bay with that long jab.
Nice body shot with the left hand by Ellis.
There's the right hand again.
Sharp right hand by Colev. He thought he might have stunned Ellis a bit with that right hand. Ellis, a tough cookie. Pretty powerful shots by Derrell Too Sweet Colev. Closing moments of the second round. Once again with us at ringside during this between round break is the Butterbean Eric Ashe. Bean, you've done a great job. You've made a name for yourself. You're a cult hero. But I know there's part of you that wants to move up the rankings, isn't there?
Oh, of course, I'd love to, but a lot of the fighters are not wanting to fight me because I can hit hard. You know, this fight, I just had fun. I wasn't really out there. I could have probably took him out in the first, second round, but people paid good money to watch this fight, and I needed some more work. I worked on some things, and it worked.
Man, people relate to you, don't they?
Oh, of course. 3 years ago, I was working in a mobile home factory, and I know exactly how hard it is to get where I'm at now, so I respect that and keep my feet planted on the ground.
Hey, thanks for everything for Fight Night 97. I know the children's charities appreciate it, and everybody thinks what you did tonight was great.
Anything for the kids.
All right, buddy.
We'll see you next year.
All right, man.
Thanks
We'll keep you up on that. Butterbean Eric Ashe, victorious in the ring and outside of the ring tonight as he auctioned off his trunks for over $4,000. The money going to Children's Hospital. Round 3 underway, JD.
Yeah, you got to watch this young man from Washington, D.C. Too sweet, too sweet. He's giving Ellis a boxing lesson right at this moment. Ellis is trying to get inside, and there's no avail because Coley's been able to keep him outside with that long jab.
And you call him too sweet. And he's got some really fundamentally sweet science, the sweet science of boxing. And the sharp punches, there's no way of knowing this guy has had a layoff since March.
He looks real good in the ring, I tell you. I'm surprised, like I said, the long layoff that he had. His timing looks like it's real good. And he's had some good sparring in the gym. And I tell you, this guy here doesn't look like he's been off at all.
In great condition.
Ellis is really the type of guy that likes to pick up the pace in the middle round.
Well, Ellis has been around. He's 31 years old. Record of 24-2. Fought some pretty good fighters. Now, his last fight was at 153 pounds. Does moving up and moving down help a fighter? Or does it hinder a fighter?
Well, in this case, I think it really hinders him because his body structure and his height really wasn't able to handle the 154-pound weight class, and it took away some of his punching power. He went up against a guy who was a true middleweight, junior middleweight, in Raul Marquez, and of course, you know, Ellis got caught with some shots and it went the other way.
Marquez can hammer, no doubt about that. He's the IBF junior middleweight champ. And Ellis back to a weight that he's a little more comfortable at, the welterweight limit, 147 pounds.
Well, Ellis is really looking forward to becoming a world champion. He wants to be a welterweight champion of the world. And he feels this fight here can be a springboard to get him right in position to fight one of the welterweight champions out there, somebody like Ike Quartey, Pernell Whitaker, or Oscar De La Hoya.
I see Coley trying to set up the right hand with the left uppercut. So he's thinking ahead in that ring right now.
Coley's a smart boxer. He just has a tendency to relax in the ring a little too much, and that's when he gets caught with some shots. But when he's on his game and he's being smart in the ring, he's a tough guy to beat.
Now, Ellis has 17 knockouts out of his 24 wins. Does he have the power to hurt Coley?
Yes, he does. He has the power, but the thing of it is that Coley's not giving him a chance. He's not getting in a position to get hit with those shots.
Very evenly matched fight to this point. Closing moments of round 3.
Coley's fighting a smart fight, trying to sneak that right hand over the top.
Change of hooks to end round 3. How do you have this fight scored, JD, through 3 rounds? Derrell Colev is the defending ABF welterweight champion.
Well, this fight could be either 1 round apiece or 2 rounds for Colev. It's very close, and I think that right now, depending on the style from the judges, what type of style they like, this fight could be either way, kind of up and down.
Take a look at action from earlier in the 3rd round. Derrell Colev in his corner.
Ellis is trying to get inside with Derrell Colev, but Derrell is not letting him get in there. He's keeping that jab out in front and shooting the right hand right across the top.
Colev trying to set up that right hand just off the button.
He's got to come back with the hook though behind it. He's throwing his jab right hand, but he's got to put a 3-piece combination together if he wants to get Romelis Ellis out. He's not going to just get him in one shot. He needs to throw a 3-piece combination. Jab, right hand, left hook.
Round 4 underway. Derrell Too Sweet Colev in the red trunks with the yellow trim, and in the black trunks with the gold trim, Romelis Ellis. Again, no indication of any ring rust for Derrell Colev, and that might be some of the frustration. This guy looks in great shape. He looks sharp. His punches are sharp, but he's been sitting since March.
And that's one of the things that hurts most fighters when they get up in the top echelon of the fight game. A lot of them sit and don't get the right type of fights. They get stale. And what ends up happening is that somebody catches them on one of their good days and makes the fighter look bad. Kip Diggs is an example. Like I said, he caught Derrell Colev in a bad situation after a long layoff. And, good right hand by Colev. But comes back big shot.
Well, he's trying to show he's not hurt. Takes a few quick steps, but Colev beginning to take command just a bit. The tempo going the way of Derrell Colev ever so slowly.
And he's got to fight every round like that, Larry. He's got to be smart. He's got to box. He's got to keep his composure and use his skills.
Good body shot by Colev. JD, there's a lot of smoke in the ballroom here at the Hilton. Do you think that bothers the fighters?
Yeah, I find that the fighters have been telling me that the smoke in the ballroom gets into the lungs and they have a difficult time breathing. But it goes back to the old days when they had the old smokers in the old arenas and the whole place was covered with smoke. Those
honestly, they both breathe the same air.
Yeah. What does that tell you, Larry? Is old-timers a little tougher than we are these days?
I don't know. I'm just thinking, you know, finally to an athlete, a room full of smoke, probably not going to see their best. Ellis trying to counter that right hand by Coley by throwing the left hand of his own.
Coley has to throw that right hand fast. He's got to throw a snapping right hand. He can't be a lazy right hand because he'll get caught.
For the first time tonight, the fighters tie up in the center of the ring. Kenny Chevalier is the referee for this fight, a very competent official.
Very good official. Kenny Chevalier is one of the better officials in this area here. And he lets the fighters fight. You don't see it too much. He's not visible. And that's a sign of a good referee.
Coley once again, the one shot, then moving. At times you think Coley could really take over this fight. At least to me it seems that way. But every time it looks to go his way, he kind of backs off and Ellis comes on.
That could be from some of the ring rest, from some of the other things that's concentrating on his mind. You know, like I said, he's got a lot on his mind in that ring besides Romellis Ellis. And that's a factor. So far, it has not been visible, but that is going to be a factor.
The NABF welterweight champ, Derrell Too Sweet Coley. There is Romellis Ellis.
Leaning in on the inside of the rope, talking to Romellis Ellis is Johnny Gant. Very, very talented welterweight from Washington, D.C., who was once managed by Angelo Dundee.
Action from earlier in the fourth round.
Now we got Leonard Langley and Adrian Davis in Coley's corner, giving him instructions. Coley's trying to box, keep that jab out and throw the right hand, but he's got to come back with the hook. He's throwing 1-2, 1-2. Right hand, nothing else behind it.
Another look at the same combination. Derrell Coley.
Derrell Coley with the right hand again with nothing else behind it. Derrell's got to put that three-piece combination together. If he puts the three-piece combination together, we could see a different fight.
Round 5. Here at Fight Night 97, Larry Michael. J.D. Brown, great to have you with us. Fight for the Children Charities. This is the 8th annual Fight Night here in Washington, D.C. It's grown over the years. And here we have a marquee matchup. Anytime, anywhere, Derrell Too Sweet Coley going up against Romellis Ellis.
Absolutely. This is a major, major fight.
Coley trying to turn the heat up a bit. On the advice of his corner, Ellis shaking his head. You can't touch me, he says.
Yeah, but he better get back into the mode of fighting, because right now, Coley's getting him out of his rhythm, talking to him like that, and you watch Ellis is dropping his hands and he's going to get caught with something. He's got to be a little bit more cautious in the ring and not just try to walk through Derrell Coley. Coley's slapping that jab, which is kind of an illegal punch, but the referee didn't get a chance to see that.
You know, Coley has not really jabbed too much in this fight, and that might be the way to set up that right hand.
Yeah, that's one of the things that he's trying to do. He's trying to use the lead right hand for a southpaw, which is a good punch. And he's trying to stay on the outside of Romellis Ellis's right foot.
This is Coley's second fight in 1997. He only fought 2 times in 1996.
He's circling right to Romellis Ellis's power, though. Derrell's got to watch out. He's got to circle the other way and get away from that left hand. That's the shot that Romellis Ellis is trying to get it with him. Derrell seems to be circling right into the punch.
Once again, Coley trying to score that left uppercut to set up the right. Comes up short. Once again, that backhanded punch. You say that's an illegal punch?
Well, it's not really an illegal punch. It's one that the referees, especially in the amateurs, they don't allow, because they look for the hit on the knuckle of the glove. And one of the things that he's doing, he's slapping the punch out there, really not being effective. He's not scoring anything with that. He needs to get that jab started, get the rhythm going, and then come with his right hand and maybe even the left hook behind it, and you might see a different fight. A headbutt.
Coley complaining for a headbutt. I did not see any blood on the right side of the forehead of Derrell Coley. Yes, I think maybe above that right eye. Yes, there is a cut over the right eye of Derrell Coley.
Yeah, he's cut over the right eye.
Yeah, and that is not in a good place, J.D.
And it was an accidental headbutt. It wasn't an intentional headbutt.
So the corner of Coley will have some work here at the end of round 5.
He's going to have Adrian Davis, who's also working the corner and working the cut.
And blood coming from the right eye of Derrell Colev.
That could be a turning point, a turning factor in this fight. Coley's trying to step it up.
Let's take a look at the corner of Derrell Colev and see if we can get a look at that cut. There you go, working on it.
Working on his Adrian Davis, working on that cut in the corner. He's jumped in with the adrenaline 1,000, trying to put pressure on that cut, stop the bleeding. It's in a bad spot. It's right on the eyebrow.
It's on the brow, not necessarily the lid, but it's still in a bad place because that blood could flow
and drip right in his eye.
Let's take a look and see if we can see where the headbutt occurred.
They bumped heads a little bit there, but there
it was, right there.
Yeah. Ellis came up with his head. It wasn't intentional, accidental headbutt.
Coley reacted immediately. Let's see if this is a better angle. Coming up.
Yeah, he was throwing a punch and had his head up. He had his head up in front of his punch.
The bleeding has stopped for now. Let's see if it stays that way. Round 6 underway, scheduled for 12.
I think it's given Ellis a little bit more confidence. He started to move forward and try to back Derrell Colev up. I think his corners probably gave him the instructions that he needs to back Derrell Colev up. Keeping Coley on the defense is what Ellis, I think, is trying to do. Coley's fighting smart, though. Like I said, the cut, he's trying to give it a chance to crowd a little bit. And, oh, there's a quick combination.
Big right hand by Coley, and Romulus Ellis comes strutting back. Now, psychologically, when a fighter sees his own blood, he really doesn't know how bad the cut is. He has to rely on his corner, tell him it's okay, and to stop the bleeding. And if he doesn't have confidence in his corner, that is something that could bother him throughout the fight.
Yeah, you know, it depends on the fighter. Like, you have some fighters that might see blood and it's just like a bull. They start to charge. And then you see some guys that get a little tentative once they see the blood and think that the fight could stop. You see Coley shoot that right hand over again, but it's just one punch. He's got to put more than one punch together.
Ellis beginning to stalk Coley here in the 6th round. Coley fighting somewhat more defensively here after the cut over the right eye.
I think he took this round off to try to let the cut heal a little bit in the ring or slow down the bleeding process, and you'll see him pick it back up the next round. But Ellis should have taken more advantage of it, like I said, because he was backing Coley up, but he's not pursuing him. He's not keeping the pressure on.
He's really not scoring with any punches. The cut over the eye of Coley has not started to bleed again.
No, Adrian Davis has done a really good job in the corner with this cut. And Coley's there. He got the headbutt again.
Coley complaining of the headbutt again, and that did not reopen the cut.
Yeah, but you know, both the guys are inside and changing punches, and it's not an intentional headbutt, it's an accidental headbutt. But Coley, like I said, is getting a little frustrated with it. He can't get out of his game plan. He has to stay with his boxing, and if he gets into a brawl or shootout with Big Shot, it could be a mistake.
Half a minute to go in round 6. Derrell Colev really has not done much jabbing in this fight. Trying to fake a move in there on Ellis. Said Coley gave this round away. It would appear to me that Ellis winning this round right now.
Ellis, like I said, is winning this round. Coley took this round off and gave Ellis a shot at stepping up the pace in here.
Closing moments of round 6 in the books. Ellis in pretty good shape, not really breathing that heavily. The corner of Derrell Colev going to work once again on that right eye. Take a look at some action from earlier in the 6th round as Derrell Colev maybe did the smart thing, staying away, letting that eye recuperate a little bit.
Yeah, they're still banging heads in there together because they're both trying to trade punches on the inside, and that's why the heads are clashing together. But Derrell Colev did the right thing that time, staying away from Romelis Ellis, giving himself a chance to get back in this fight. Ellis is definitely
another headbutt. That's the second headbutt.
And Derrell can't complain like that. He's got to let the referee take charge of it.
Round 7. These guys are built to go the distance. Ellis has gone 10 rounds on 5 occasions, never been 12.
Well, you know, one of the things that happened is that, as I said, Ellis is trained by Johnny Gann, a former welterweight contender here. Aiden Davis training Derrell Colev, another former welterweight contender. We have a load of good welterweights in this area here, and they're both being trained by ex-welterweight contenders themselves. Washington is a hot bid right now for fighters, and they have some real good trainers in the area here. Dave Jacobs, Jenks Morton, Pepe Correa. You know, they got a whole bunch of guys in this area here who are good trainers. And one of the things that's happening now is a lot of fighters are migrating to this area, trying to hook on to some of these good trainers.
Tell Coley is very well trained. He really takes his time. He's patient in the ring. Lets things come to him. Nice right hand by Coley.
Coley was started off by Leonard Lang, a former light heavyweight who beat for the draw with Dwight Muhammad Kawi. Leonard Lang is in his corner now. He started Derrell Coley off as an amateur, and he's been with him all of his career. That right hand might have hurt.
It did. You saw the shake in Ellis's legs. Now he is trying to fake Coley and to hold it back. Ellis's legs quivered a bit with that right hand delivered by Derrell Colev.
But Derrell didn't come back with any other shot. That's what I was saying. If Derrell came back with the left hook behind there, it could have been over with.
Coley taking a body shot. Another body shot. Ellis does not like that. Another strong body shot by Coley. Ellis is hurt. Ellis is hurt.
Shots took some wind out of him.
Coley has found a home to the body of Ellis. Long way to go in round 7. Ellis screaming to the corner of Coley. Another big body shot. And Coley knows that now. That's going to be in his memory bank for the rest of this fight. The body shot is effective against Ellis.
Ellis is saying that Coley took him lightly, that he realizes that Coley's a good fighter, but Derrell Colev has taken him lightly, and he's saying that he's the best welterweight in this area here because he was born and raised in Washington, D.C., and not Derrell Colev. So this really is a battle for the turf also.
Coley born in Gary, Indiana, but moved to Washington, D.C.
Oh, really?
Coley is, so like you're right. Ellis from Washington, living in Atlanta. Coley from Gary, Indiana, living in Washington. Coley has really made his home in the D.C. area, though. Considers himself a D.C. guy.
Both guys, I think, have adopted his home here in Washington, D.C.
Another good body shot by Coley. Big right hand to the head of Ellis by Coley.
Well, Coley's getting his shots there first. I mean, they're both throwing punches. They're throwing the right punches. They both have the right idea, but Coley's getting his punches there faster, which is to his advantage.
7th round, a big round for Derrell Coley. Little smack there as they end round number 7. Taking a look at action from earlier in the 7th round, the body attack of Derrell Coley really got it going.
Derrell Colev is trying to get that body attack working, take some of the starch out of Romelis Ellis for these next couple of rounds. He's doing a good job at it, but Ellis has gotten away from his game plan. He's talking to somebody in the other corner, and he's got to get back to concentrating on Derrell Colev. Derrell Colev is the one in the ring throwing the punches and not the corner. Coley with that right hand lead again. He's not putting his punches together. That's the only thing. That layoff may be a factor in him not being able to put together his combination because he's throwing good, crisp punches, but he's only throwing one punch at a time.
Would you agree round 7 was Coley's best round of the fight?
So far, I think it was. Like I said, he took off the other round. I think he's going to pick up the pace now.
This fight is scheduled for 12. The main event here at Fight Night 97, the fight for the children. Over $1.5 million generated. The Children's Hospital tonight for Fight Night. Throw in Butterbean's trunks, which he raffled off for about $4,500. And a successful night for the children's charities here tonight.
You know, you can't count Romelis Ellis out of this fight He's the kind of guy that looks like, you know, the door's ready to shut on him, and then all of a sudden he pulls himself up by the bootstrap. He's trying to get Derrell Colev to walk into that left hand.
Colev is really frustrating Ellis right now.
Absolutely. He's got him. He's on his bicycle. He's moving. He's boxing, keeping the jab, building points up.
Good power shot with the right hand by Colev. Shakes up Ellis. Ellis is hurt again. Ellis up against the ropes, trying to fake Colev into something here now. Trying to sucker him in.
Yeah, he's trying to get Colev to come into a shootout. Like I said, these guys are fighting for bragging rights as well. And it's a lot at stake on this fight for both guys, because the winner of this fight could very well get a world title shot. And they both got a lot to lose. It's a great, great fight.
A little blood from the mouth of Derrell Colev. Colev here not as aggressive offensively as he was in the previous round. Content to box and make Ellis miss.
Well, I think the frustration that he's given to Ellis there in the ring is to his advantage, because Ellis is going to make a mistake and throw something out of sync and get caught.
Coley's right eye was cut on a clash of heads earlier in this fight. The corner has done a tremendous job. No blood since the initial bite.
If Romelis Ellis keeps his composure, he's going to get back in this fight, because you can see Derrell Colev starting to slow down some.
Colev has laid off since March of this year, so you wonder if the legs are there to move like this for the entire 12 rounds.
He has good, strong legs. Sometimes the balance looks like it's off a little bit, but the legs are good and strong. He's able to bounce on them. He's got to keep his arms away from Romelis Ellis. Ellis is definitely knowing he's way behind on points now. He's got to try to score a knockout.
What do you think Colev's strategy is here to be moving this entire round after having a very, very effective round 7 where he went to the body of Ellis and hurt him?
Yeah, I think that one of the things that he needs to go back to is the body shots, because he said the body attack took some of the wind out of the sails of Romelis Ellis, and Derrell Colev got away from it. That's what I was talking about concentrating and keeping his mind on what he's doing in the ring and being able to stay focused. You know, with all the problems and all the other things he's saying as he's going through right now, he's having a hard time focusing in that ring.
The end of round 8. We'll be back with more from Fight Night 97 from the Washington Hilton in just a few moments. Six minutes to go in our main event. Derrell Too Sweet Colev and Romelis Ellis. This is Larry Michael along with J.D. Brown. Fight Night 97 on Home Team Sports. And this is a very, very close fight with 2 rounds to go.
Derrell Colev is still on the bicycle. He's getting in that movement. He's fighting a smart fight. Like I said, he just has to keep focused and not get relaxed and go to sleep, because Ellis is capable of putting him to sleep.
I'm almost wondering, JD, that maybe a hand problem. I mean, do you see anything along those lines, or he just wants to stay away?
No, I think he's fighting the type of fight that he thinks he's capable of doing with the long layoff. He's boxing. He's giving this guy angles. But he's got to throw punches as well, because like I said, we don't know what's going through the mind of the judges, you know, whether they're looking for the aggressor or whether they're looking for the person that's retreating.
Got to figure, you got to throw some punches, got to score some punches to win a round, and Colev is yet to throw a punch here in this round.
He's moving, and not throwing any punches at all.
So I'm almost wondering if there's something bothering Colev.
Well, if he's hurt his hand, you know, he could be throwing some shots to the body that wouldn't damage it as much. But as you see, Coley's just trying to get the angle on him. He's moving, he's boxing.
And Ellis doing the right thing, walking away, saying, hey, do you want to fight or don't you?
That's why I said we got to watch what's happening with the judges. You know, if you look at the faces of the judges, they're concentrating hard on this fight. And you don't know whether they're going to go for the aggressor, somebody that's following Derrell Colev around the ring, or somebody that's running around there like Derrell Colev. So it's kind of a toss-up. These rounds are really, really close.
J.D. Colev is not throwing a punch here in the 11th round. He is not throwing a punch.
He's taken off for some reason. You know, like you said, Larry, maybe it's a hand problem. But I just think he's trying to set Ellis up for a big shot.
That's the first punch thrown by Colev, a weak jab. And Ellis has to keep moving forward, though. He cannot fall into the trap of not punching himself.
Yeah, he's becoming a little bit more aggressive, Ellis is, but he can't catch up to Coley. Coley's movement is giving him problems. This is the rounds when Coley becomes a little bit relaxed, a little lackadaisical. He's got to keep his mind focused. He's got to keep his head together, keep his composure together, and most of all, keep his boxing skills he has on the table and not put them on the floor like they're doing. He's gotten away from what he does best, and that's combination.
Coley has not thrown the right hand. There's the right hand for the first time this round. 5 jabs and 1 right hand in the entire 11th round for Derrell Too Sweet Colev.
I'm curious to see how the judges score this round, you know. You would think that Ellis has won this round, but, you know, you don't know.
3 minutes to go. Here in the Grand Ballroom at the Hilton in Washington, D.C. The corner of Derrell Colev. Not much being said there. Colev asking his trainer to rub his legs. And he was on his bicycle for the entire 3 minutes of round 11.
He took off that round and let Ellis get in his fight. As you see right here, Colev is moving. That's the 1 jab he threw, 2 jabs, and maybe 1 more right hand in the round. Can't win a round that way.
Colev almost, we have another replay from earlier in the 11th round. Colev almost disinterested in his corner, JD. He really does not look focused right now. Actually gave us a wink here at ringside.
He's not focused at all. Like I said, I think that, you know, these outside problems that he's having have been a factor tonight because Derrell Colev has not been able to display some of the talent that he has.
Final round. Let's see if Ellis or Colev want this thing bad enough.
And it could come down to this last round. Who really wants it the most?
This has not been the impressive war that we expected. Derrell Colev did some damage in the 7th round, the most impressive round for him. He really went to the body of Ellis, had Ellis in trouble, but Colev never went back to the body.
Yeah, I don't know what was going on with Derrell in the ring. I don't know whether he hurt his hand or what, but after he took control of that 7th round, he took off, and he's let Ellis back in his fight. And depending on how these judges are scoring the fight, this fight could be close. It could be a draw.
Well, I think this fight is very close. Ellis really has not distinguished himself, though, offensively in the fight. He hasn't been able to cut off the ring at all against Derrell Colev. And Colev has been able to stay away round after round.
Colev's back to his movement, but he's not throwing any punches.
And you would think Romalis Ellis might sense there might be a hand problem, or sense that Colev isn't punching. He's in the ring with him, but he has no ability to cut him off. Colev's still not throwing the right hand. You know, if a fighter has a hand problem, the one thing they don't want to have happen is anybody know about it.
That's true.
You know? Because then the opponent would certainly come after with a little more vigor. Colev continues to stay away.
He's got to step up and throw some punches in this last round here. He's giving away this round as well.
Look of concern in the corner of Derrell Colev.
This is how I thought maybe what would happen early in the fight, you know, him being tentative. But either he's injured himself somewhere in this ring, or he just lost focus.
He has not thrown any punches.
There's the right hand there.
Single right hand. That's the first right hand he's fired in this round. He only had 1 right hand in the 11th round. Ellis, though, doing his best to corner Colev, but he can't.
Too sweet.
He's too sweet, sweet enough.
Too sweet. Was he sweet enough, or was Big Shot the man?
Boy, no telling how that fight was scored as Derrell Colev is content to just move for the final couple rounds of this fight. Well, JD, how do you have this one scored? It was a difficult fight to score. Neither of the fighters actually scoring any real significant blows in the last 3 rounds. What do you think?
Well, I think that Derrell Colev may have eked this fight out with the early rounds, winning the early rounds, but he sure let this guy back in the fight, late in the fight, by taking off. He gave away the last 3 rounds of this fight, and that could be a factor. I'm not going to be surprised, Larry, if we go to the scorecards and find out we have a draw.
There's no indication there's anything wrong with any of Coley's hands. This was his strategy. Romales Ellis looks over to us and puts his hands out and says, what more could I have done?
Yeah.
And he's right.
Did he hit his hand?
J.D. Brown trying to get some info from the corner.
Right after this announcement, we will have the winners of all the drawings, so get your raffle tickets ready.
J.D. Brown communicating with the corner of Coley. Corner of Coley says nothing wrong with Coley, nothing wrong with his hands. What'd you make out there in your conversation with the trainer, J.D.?
Well, he said that he won the early rounds, and so he just kind of took off and just wanted to box and make sure he finished the fight on his feet.
Well, we're going to see if that was the proper strategy for Derrell Coley. That strategy might have come back to bite him. We'll have to wait and see.
It was a close fight. Michael Buffer, I think, is ready for us.
All right, let's get the official word from Michael.
Ladies and gentlemen, we go to the scorecards. Sheila Harmon Martin scores the bout, 119 to 109. Bill Clancy has it, 118 to 110. And Bruce Foster scores at 119 to 109 for the winner. And still NABF welterweight champion, Derrell Too Sweet Colev.
Well, he's smarter than us. Too sweet, just too sweet tonight. A convincing victory. 119-109, 118-110, 119-109. Derrell Too Sweet Colev back in the ring. He's a winner tonight. Unanimous decision win over Romales Ellis. More Fight Night 97 coming up on Home Team Sports. Stick around.
I take him out of there. I need to work. I wanted to work. If this is my last fight, I want to see more rounds, and I watch the tape.
Well, you know, Derrell, one of the things that I noticed in it that you would hit him with the right hand lead whenever you wanted to, but you never came back with the left hook behind that. We thought that if you put together a combination, a 3-piece combination on, maybe you would have taken him out early in the fight.
Well, basically, I didn't want to get greedy. You know, I hit him with the right hand. I know I could have came back with the left hook, but then that would have been, I thought maybe I would have been in the inside too long, and I would have been taking a bigger chance than I did. So, you know, I could have did a lot more than what I did.
With all the other things that are going on around you, how focused were you in the ring? Because sometimes it looked like you got a little lackadaisical in the ring and lost your focus.
Well, it was very hard. It was very hard for me to focus because I knew I was retiring and a lot of things on my mind, and if this is my last fight, I wanted to look good.
Come on, man, you're too young.
Schedule that I'm on fighting every 9 months. I can't contend with these De La Hoya guys. I'm not no fool. Can't nobody brainwash me and tell me I can't. I'm a good fighter. Me being active, I will fight anybody, and I can be anybody. But me fighting with a schedule every 9 months, I can't do it. So I'd rather get out the game than get hurt.
Have you made that decision as a final decision? Is it still something you're considering? Or might a managerial change cause you to continue your career?
Most definitely. Even if me and my manager can come to agreement, negotiate the contract a little better than it is, but as long as the contract stay the way it is, no way I'll fight again.
Well, we want to see Derrell Too Sweet Colev stay in the ring. Congratulations. Big win tonight, buddy.
Thank you.
All right, Derrell Colev, a winner tonight. Back with more of Fight Night 97 in just a moment.
Chance to see one of the legends of boxing, Butterbean, and they got a chance to see some of the fighters of old, Carmen Basilio, Jake LaMotta, Sugar Ray Leonard, Ingemar Johansson, but then they got a chance to see 2 guys in the main event, Derrell Colev and a young man by the name of Romales Ellis put up a good fight.
Night to remember at the Hilton in Washington, D.C. For J.D. Brown, this is Larry Michael. Thanks for watching Fight Night 97 on Home Team Sports.